Hi. Sorry to look like this. I'm tired, but I feel this is important tonight. Tonight, on April 20th, 2019, marks the most horrific school shootings in American history, the Columbine Massacre. What people didn't know was the first victim, Rachel Joy Scott, was actually killed for her faith. When Eric and Dylan started shooting at her, Rachel was injured while her friend Richard Costado was paralyzed, and he witnessed the whole event. Eric and Dylan mocked Rachel for her faith, and then Eric grabbed her by the hair saying, "Do you still believe in God?" Rachel's last words were, "You know I do." And then Eric said, "Well, go be with him." April was killed that day, refusing to give up her faith in God. But before she died, she actually drew one of the most known artworks that she's ever done. She drew a Columbine with a line going around it, and above are her eyes crying out tears. 13 tears turning into drops on a Columbine flower. 13 people died in the Columbine Massacre. That includes Eric and Dylan. Rachel's whole goal was to make a change by spreading compassion. That was her whole goal. She once said, "You never know how far a little kindness can go." And tomorrow's not a promise, but it's a chance. You just may start that chain reaction. You can see the drawing that she did. Also, the quote I just mentioned, she said that on her project. And after she died, her family had started an organization called Rachel's Challenge. Rachel's Challenge. Where it helps prevent teen suicide and bullying and school shootings by just spreading compassion. She had touched over 22 million hearts of people. And I think because of tonight, I worked on the song for a while. It's not really finished, so I'm just going to do a demo recording. But I try to make it into a 90s pop theme. What inspired me with this was the movie that depicts Rachel's last year, called I'm Not Ashamed, released from Pureflix, which stars Mason McLean as Rachel Joy Scott. They're based entirely on her journals. Rachel's family found a bunch of her journals written, and it was like as if she knew what was about to happen. But because I wrote this song, not only me, I used so much of Rachel's quotes that she is credited as a co-writer. So this was written by me and Rachel Scott. My family never knew Rachel. I didn't even know Rachel. She lived in Colorado. I was in Indiana. I was only 6 months old. But she's become a big inspiration of me. The song's inspired by her, and again, also written by her. So that's why I like to perform it. This song is called Chain Reaction. There's something that she said. I have this theory that if one person can go out of their way to show compassion, then start a chain reaction, a reaction of the same. You never know how far a little kindness can go. Tomorrow's not a promise, my code seemed like a fantasy that's never been reached, but test them for yourselves and see the kind of effect they have in the people around you. Tomorrow's not a promise, but a chance to start a chain reaction. There's something inside of her that made her wanna cry. Despite feeling alone on earth, you were always there for her. She knew what was to come, but still had faith in you. She still had faith in what you had in store for all of us. Tomorrow's not a promise, my code seemed like a fantasy that's never been reached, but you test them for yourselves and see the kind of effect they have in the people around you. Tomorrow's not a promise, but a chance to start a chain reaction. You just might start a chain reaction. There's something that she said. I have this theory that one person can go out of their way to show compassion. Tomorrow's not a promise, my code seemed like a fantasy that's never been reached, but you test them for yourselves and see the kind of effect they have in the people around you. Tomorrow's not a promise, but a chance to start a chain reaction. You just might start a chain reaction. You just might start a chain reaction. You just might start a chain reaction. So, not only would I like to dedicate this to Rachel Joy Scott, I would like to dedicate this to all the people that lost their lives in Columbine. Especially to Dylan and Eric. Because Jesus didn't just die for the good people. He died for every single person from past and present to future. No matter how they acted, no matter what they have done, he died for every single human being on the planet, regardless of what they done, regardless of if it was good or bad. Rachel even just wanted to spread love. That's why I like to finish this off with 1 Corinthians chapter 13. If I speak in human and angelic tongues, but do not have love, I am a resounding gong or a clashing cymbal. And if I have the gift of prophecy and comprehend all mysteries and all knowledge, if I have all faith so as to move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give away everything I own, and if I hand my body over so that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient. Love is kind. It is not jealous. It is not pompous. It is not affiliated. It is not rude. It does not seek its own interests. It is not quick-tempered. It does not brood over injury. It does not rejoice over wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails. If there are prophecies, they will be brought to nothing. If tongues, they will cease. If knowledge, it will be brought to nothing. For we know partially, and we prophesy partially. But when the perfect comes, the partial will pass away. When I was a child, I used to talk as a child, think as a child, reason as a child. When I become a man, I put aside childish things. At present we see indistinctly, as in a mirror, but then face to face. At present I know partially, then I shall know fully, as I am fully known. So faith, hope, love remain. These three, but the greatest of these is love.